From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, I'm Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Thursday, June 29th. This morning, we have been covering three major stories, including some breaking news. Indiana State Police say a trooper is dead, killed in a chase in Hendricks County. We're watching the next steps now in the investigation and how people are remembering the fallen trooper. Our Storm Track 8 team is watching air quality concerns as well as Indiana begins another day under an air quality action alert. But let's start right now by remembering Trooper Aaron Smith and letting you know what we have found out about the investigation into his death. What we know now is Smith's body is at the Marion County Coroner's Office. A motorcade carried Smith's body from Eskenazi Hospital to the coroner's office just before 1:30 this morning. There's now a criminal investigation underway as state police mourn Smith's death. It happened on Ronald Reagan Parkway, just north of I-70. State police released the information overnight, saying it all started when police spotted a stolen vehicle near Plainfield. Troopers say at around 8:40 yesterday evening, Trooper Smith was trying to de-escalate the pursuit. The driver of the stolen vehicle hit Trooper Smith as Smith was trying to deploy stop sticks. It left Smith in critical condition. He died at Eskenazi Hospital. Our crews were on scene and saw police and medics take the suspect along with an adult and juvenile passenger to the hospital. Police say all three of them will survive. Superintendent Doug Carter says he'll be there to support Smith's family.
And I promised family members that I would do everything that I could do to take care of them, but I couldn't take care of him tonight. I just couldn't.
Carter says that he wants the community to know that these types of accidents happen. He says that they'll keep serving because they care for their community. There is body camera video. That's being looked at, and state police say they'll turn over any findings to the Hendricks County prosecutor, who will then decide which charges to file. And we're told Trooper Aaron Smith was one of the finest. He's won multiple awards in his 5 years on the department. Smith was a native of Whiteland and a 2008 graduate of Whiteland High School. He graduated from Indiana State University and was a member of the Army National Guard. Before joining state police, he worked in construction and in insurance. Smith earned 2 life-saving awards from the Indiana State Police for 2 separate incidents. Police say on November 16, 2021, Smith used a tourniquet to help a driver who'd been shot near West and Washington Streets. He also received an award for his actions in October of 2022, where he gave first aid to a woman who'd been shot on I-70. Superintendent Carter says he is still at a loss for words.
You know, he was one of those guys I remember him in my 11th year now. We've hired a lot of people, and he was one of those guys that stood out. And you all know who those people are, and that's what I'll always remember about him. He was not cliche, but he was a shining star within the state police.
Carter says Trooper Smith leaves behind a young wife and a beautiful family. Smith is the second state trooper killed while trying to end a chase this year. Trooper James Bailey died in March. Investigators say Terry Sands II hit Bailey on I-69 in DeKalb County. Sands is charged with murder, resisting law enforcement, and causing death with a vehicle while driving under the influence. Prosecutors are seeking life without parole. In your health spotlight now, Indiana is under an air quality action day again today as smoke from the Canadian wildfires shrouds the state. Wish TV medical expert and former Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams says breathing this poor quality air can have long-term health effects. He says the tiny size of the particulates in the smoke is why this air is so dangerous.
That means when you take a deep breath, you can pull it way down into your lungs, into your bronchioles, and it can cause irritation for people who have respiratory issues. But it's even been correlated with higher rates of heart attacks. It can be pulled into your bloodstream and cause you to have cardiovascular issues.
Health experts say poor air quality can affect anyone, but people with respiratory illnesses are especially at risk. Dr. Nadia Krupp is a pediatric pulmonologist with Riley Children's Health. She says children are also at a higher risk.
They breathe faster and more deeply relative to their body size than adults do.
The Indiana Department of Environmental Management encourages everyone to take steps to protect yourself. It suggests carpooling, combining errands into one trip, and not leaving your car in idle for long periods of time. It also recommends turning off lights and setting the air conditioner to a higher setting. So let's talk about what we can expect weather and air quality wise going forward. Our Storm Track 8 team says the winds are changing and we should gradually get some relief as the day moves on today regarding just that smoke and haze that we've had. That is being replaced, though, by heat, humidity, and severe weather risks. Several places this morning have already dealt with hail and an overall noisy weather pattern. Our meteorologists say it's not time to relax. Storms could brew in the latter half of the day as well. There will be potential to turn severe, too. There's a slight risk, level 2 out of 5, of severe storms for much of central Indiana. Damaging winds and hail are the main threats, but we can't rule out isolated tornadoes along a Rensselaer-Indianapolis line and points west. Highs will be in the upper 80s to low 90s. Now to I-Team 8 and stunning new revelations in the Delphi murders case. A judge has unsealed hundreds of documents in the case against Richard Allen. We're learning new details about how the girls died and the behind-the-scenes legal fight to have Allen moved out of a maximum security prison. I-Team 8 senior investigative reporter Richard Essex has been following this case since day one.
Well, it's been more than 6 years since Abby Williams and Libby German were found dead in Delphi. Tonight, for the first time ever, court documents reveal a gun was used to force them down the hill and a knife was used to kill the two teenage girls. Wednesday's court record release includes more than 100 pages of documents, many of which have never been seen publicly. The documents include an unredacted version of the probable cause used in Richard Allen's arrest and reveals Abby Williams and Libby German died of wounds caused by a sharp object. In other new court records, prosecutors claim that Allen has admitted to the killings at least 5 times while in prison, including conversations with his mother, and on April 3rd, a phone call with his wife. Prosecutors claim he admitted his guilt several times during one call, and his wife abruptly ended that call. Another document is a letter from a fellow inmate at the maximum security prison in Westville, where Allen has been held since late last year. In the letter, the inmate claims that Allen is being abused and mistreated, and that corrupt officers and ranking officers are calling him a kid killer, and that other inmates have threatened to kill Richard Allen and told him to kill himself. The letter claims that threats have been recorded on camera and that the DOC has done nothing to stop them. Allen's attorneys have argued that his mental and physical condition have rapidly deteriorated and asked the judge to move him out of the facility. We're also seeing new details from the search warrant from Richard Allen's house in October of 2022, more than 5 years after the killings. The warrant reveals police believe Allen was the voice you hear saying, "Down the hill." In a cell phone video forcing the girls off the Monon High Bridge, that same video includes the sound of someone cycling a gun and one of the girls mentioning a gun. Court documents show what police took from Allen's home during the search: a .40 caliber handgun, ammunition, clothing, including a Carhartt jacket, sweatshirts, and a hat, plus multiple knives. State police say ballistics tests match an unspent bullet found near the girl's body to the gun found in Allen's home. We're also learning new details on why Allen's attorneys want some or all of the evidence tossed out of court. The newly revealed motion to suppress says that, among other things, the search warrant failed to provide particular information that particular items would be found in the home, and that the warrant failed to connect the generic items from which it was seeking to the actual items possibly used in the crimes, and calls the search unreasonable under both state and federal constitution. In several requests to keep the records sealed, the prosecutor claimed the records could potentially damage an ongoing murder investigation. Allen remains in custody, and his lawyers have asked for bail. The trial is set for January 2024. Richard Essex, Wish TV, I-Team 8.
A woman has died in a shooting in Fishers. Police say it's the first deadly shooting there in nearly 3 years. It happened just after 5 last night at a gas station at 116th and Allisonville Road. Police say they found the victim inside a van. They think she may have been in a relationship with the person who shot her. They say the suspect drove away. They've not yet released a description of that vehicle. Police say they spoke with witnesses and are trying to get surveillance video from the area. Broad Ripple Bar and restaurant owners are attempting to combat the threat of violence in the area by closing their businesses at 1 a.m. The move comes after 3 people were fatally shot over the weekend. The Broad Ripple Village Association says that the changes are effective immediately. They also say a number of businesses will not host any day parties or use outside promoters for events.
So 1 o'clock was an hour that we thought would allow them still to have a great night of business and get everybody, including their staff, out in a timely manner and allow for IMPD to help work to clear our streets.
The association also says that it will meet with city leaders to explore additional ways to create a safe environment for residents and business owners. Searchers say they have found likely human remains with the wreckage of an imploded Titanic tour sub. Crews have brought more of the wreckage to the surface. The Coast Guard says the remains will be taken to the United States for analysis. Experts say it is nearly certain that the 5 people who were in the submersible died instantly when the craft caved in under pressure from the water. And as Pride Month comes to a close, we are highlighting here at Wish TV new FDA guidelines making blood donation more inclusive. The change moves the focus of concern from sexual orientation to a donor's behavior. News 8's Hannah Mordeau explains.
The FDA made the new guidelines official last month. Now all donors will be asked the same risk-based questions, opening the door for gay and bisexual men to give blood 40 years after most were banned from doing so. Local blood banks say this is a big step backed by science, but it could take some time to implement.
We never have enough blood on the shelf.
Donating blood can save lives. These donor notes at a local clinic are proof. But for gay and bisexual men in America, giving this gift has been mostly off limits.
These regulations were discriminatory.
Alan Witchey is the president and CEO of the Damien Center.
It made me mad, sometimes because it was unfair and it wasn't based in facts or science. For me, I'm a gay man. I grew up in the 80s. And I've never given blood. Never in my life have I given blood because I've never been allowed to give blood.
He helps people with HIV and those at risk for it. He understands how the virus has played a part in the limits of blood donation and that it's time for change.
I'm very excited. I think it's long past due.
We're super excited about it.
Penny Schroeder is the vice president of Versity Blood Center of Indiana.
This change really maintains the safety of the blood supply while also making the process more inclusive.
She says the FDA officially released the new guidance in May, now focused on the risk of donors because of their behavior and not their sexual orientation.
Assessing a donor by their individual donor history doesn't ask just males anymore. We're asking all donors, regardless of gender, if you've had new or multiple sexual partners in the last 3 months. So it really is inclusive, and it asks the same questions to all folks.
She says the UK and Canada have already successfully made the switch, and science backs the move.
There's been a lot of studies that really support this science-based questionnaire and deferral.
The advanced study and the transfusion-transmitted infectious monitoring system ensure this move is safe. Plus, HIV medication will now be a factor.
A donor that is taking PEP or PrEP, if you're taking that orally, you will be deferred for 3 months. If you're taking it injectable, it's for 2 years.
HIV is the reason gay men were banned from giving blood in the first place 40 years ago.
We all know Ryan White was born and raised here in Indiana, and he was the face for HIV for a long time, and he got HIV through a blood transfusion, right? So in Indiana in particular, I think there was a lot of fear.
In 2015, the FDA dropped the lifetime ban and replaced it with a 1-year abstinence requirement. Then in 2020, the agency shortened the abstinence period to 3 months after donations plummeted during the pandemic. Now, blood centers like Versity are updating their policies and procedures and retraining staff with the new guidance.
We want to make sure that we have our folks trained on new procedures, new processes, so we can implement this effectively and make it a great experience for all.
Hoping to implement it soon and add more notes to the wall.
This is a great opportunity for a whole group of people that have not been able to donate blood to finally donate blood.
Bridging the gap in the blood supply and building pride in the process.
We've come this long way, this 40 years, and finally this is changing, and it should change.
Versity hopes to be able to follow the new guidance by the end of the year. The Red Cross is planning on implementing these changes on August 7th, but the work to educate the public is happening now. Hannah Mordeau, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and like us on Facebook.
And the Savannah Bananas play at Victory Field tonight and tomorrow in a long-awaited stop on the Banana Ball World Tour, featuring baseball played under a wildly different set of rules, plus music, dancing, skits, and more. The Bananas play the Party Animals tonight and tomorrow. The games start at 7. Both are sold out. You can get some secondhand tickets, but they are pretty pricey right now. And today, 3 days of music and fun start in Kokomo. The Haynes Apperson Festival is today through Sunday at the Pavilion in Foster Park. The fest features food, carnival rides, and car shows, and 3 concerts, starting with Here Come the Mummies tonight, then Ace Frehley tomorrow, and Starship Saturday. 2 business headlines. More than 4,000 flights within, into, or out of the U.S. were disrupted as of last night as airlines try to rebound from severe storms that slammed the East Coast in recent days. United Airlines was hit the hardest. Airlines and regulators are bickering now about who is to blame, and the problems are expected to get worse over the next few days. Hot dogs and sausages grilled during this year's 4th of July holiday will likely contain a little more pork and a little less beef. Pork has become a relative bargain in the U.S. thanks to low demand and plentiful supply that's only increasing as American farmers trim hog herds due to soaring feed costs. That gives pork a cost edge since it can be used interchangeably with beef in products like hot dogs. And we've been hearing for months now how AI will change the way we work, and now there are tools available for LinkedIn users to learn how to use AI in their careers. The courses are free and online. The courses will introduce workers to AI concepts, including generative AI, how to leverage Microsoft Bing Chat to streamline your work, and using AI responsibly. 4 in 10 Americans do not believe they'll achieve financial independence within the next 5 years. The survey conducted by OnePoll on behalf of Prosper Marketplace found that the most effective path to financial recovery was simply sticking to a budget. Additionally, 42% of respondents have experienced significant financial setbacks in the past 3 years. Rising interest in camping means prime sites are selling out across the country, but the Wall Street Journal reports there are often late no-shows as people double book before their plans are set. The number of people who want to camp has jumped since the pandemic began, according to the Outdoor Industry Association, a trade group. It says that in 2022, 51.4 million people camped in the United States. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and like us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.